What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to Phase 6, your source for music, business, motivation, and support. It's your guy, Sirr Love, and we got a great topic for you guys today. You have to understand that every single day, or at least every single year, a record breaks out and becomes huge, and somebody has to get paid. But who is that person? How do we know? How do we know that they did what they did, they wrote what they wrote, and they get what they're supposed to get? All that breaks down to music copyright. So today we're going to explain music copywriting for you guys and walk you through it. It's your boy, Sirr Love. Let's get it. So your music copyright is like your birth certificate for your record. Now, what do I mean by that? Because we just talked about split sheets before, right? The last video, if you haven't seen it, please watch that because split sheets and copyrights work together to get you your check, right? But copyrights are very important. It's the birth certificate of your record. It basically says these are the mothers and fathers of the record. These are the parents. So your copyright's going to list every single person that was involved in making the record happen. However, copyright does not always have to specify who gets what percentage of what. It's really talking about ownership as a whole. That's why the copyright will work with the split sheet in cutting the check, because the copyright is going to say these people legally are rights holders to this record. By rights holder, it means a rights owner, or the owner of the rights, the holder of the rights, the right to collect money off of this song, right? That's how it all ties in there. And so that document specifies who's who. Now, a lot of people say, well, why do I need that document? How necessary is it? How important is it? Well, there's a lot of ways to look at this. So number one thing you should know is that according to copyright law now, anytime you make a record, right? The moment you take that record and it ends up on a fixed medium, which basically means you take the record, you record it, and you put it on a CD. You put it on the internet. It's in a digital format. It's been released. It's formatted and on something that can be replicated and reproduced, right? And digital makes that very easy in today's time period. So pretty much, you record the record, you put it on SoundCloud. It's technically already copywritten for the moment you do that according to copyright law. So if that's the case, sir, all my stuff is good. Why am I going through the process of copywriting it? Well, let me break this down to you guys. Because if somebody were to steal your record, if somebody was to take advantage of you and say, oh, I like this song, and decide to run with your song, they can do so. And you say, how? I thought it's copyrighted. I thought I'm protected. Well, you got to understand, in a copyright suit, in a lawsuit, you have to prove copyright infringement, which means you have to prove that the person intentionally stole your record, right? You have to go to court. You got to fight it out. You have no evidence to prove it. Only thing you have is the day that you released it. Like, there's no legal evidence to say that you did it first, right? And at the end of the day, it's not about doing it first. Even if you did it first, you have to prove that they stole it, that they copied it. Just because you did it first doesn't mean that they didn't come up with something similar, right? So now you're in court fighting this out, and that lawsuit could be very expensive. It can be very timely. It can take forever. It can take years to get your money. You may never get your money. You may lose and then have to pay your lawyer all this stuff. Why take the risk when you can just get a legal copyright and have a document that's on file that says you wrote this record this day. These are all the people that are involved in it, and it's a go. This allows you to have protection in court. Additionally, it's going to allow your record to go further. So let's say you want to get a sync deal, or you want to get on radio, like you want to take the record and blow up, right? The record cannot go forth and make money unless it's registered in all the right meetings, which means if you go try to get a sync deal, a sync is a placement with a television show or a movie, they're going to want to make sure the record is copywritten, there's split sheets, that the PROs and all the other type of stuff is identified. All that stuff is done, right? If that stuff is not done, you're not going to be in the movie. You're going to lose an opportunity. You're going to lose a check. Why? Because you didn't copyright your music. Do you know the most independent artists, the real independent artists that are getting money, not people that are just independent because they decide to start making music today, but the ones that are getting money make a large portion of their income from syncs. When you're watching movies and you always hear this random song in the background that you never heard, somebody's getting a check. And if you don't have a copyright, that person will not be you. So this is another reason that you guys should go ahead and get a copyright. Another reason you guys want to make sure that you have a copyright, because there's a statutory fee associated with it. Now, what does that mean, sir? It means that if somebody were to take your record, right? Because that's what we're getting it to protect ourselves, right? If someone were to take your record, there is a legal fee that you can charge them per occurrence, which means Every time somebody bought this, or in today's time streamed it, worth a song's worth of time or whatever, and the law around that's still fuzzy because we haven't dealt with much of it, but traditionally, every time someone would have sold that song, you would get paid a fee per time that song was sold because it's a statutory fee for them taking advantage of you. Statutory. Guaranteed money in the bank. That's exactly what that means. However, if you don't have a copyright, there's no fee. There's no number that you can hold them to. Only thing you can do is say, well, I think the record would have been worth X amount of dollars, but who's to say? Now, not only do you have to argue and prove that this person stole it from you, you also have to argue the value of the record. That's a lot to go back and forth with war about. Now, you can do this. It can be won. It can be very difficult. And honestly, if you don't have a major behind you that's willing to pony up that cash, get in the saddle and go to war for you, and you're just the everyday independent that's out here trying to make it happen, it may be very difficult to win these battles. So why put yourself in a losing situation? All right, you convinced me. This might be what you're thinking right now in this moment. I hope I did convince you to go ahead and get your paperwork and get your stuff situated. If I did convince you, then the next thing you're asking yourself is, all right, sir, how do I do it? What is the process like? Well, I'm gonna walk you through it. Now, I have an info pack that breaks all this stuff down and goes into way more detail than I'm gonna go on this video series. This is a whole series breaking down everything, just kind of hitting the surface level. But I'm gonna make sure we go deep. And if you've read any of the info packs, a lot of people have, they love them. We go really, really in depth. By the time you finish these things, there's no reason that you can't win in the game, right? But I'm gonna stay surface level. We're gonna move to the next topic in the next video and talk about the process of actually doing so. What is a PA versus a SR, and how does that affect you long term? How does that affect your money? Because copywriting is important, and copyrights protect you, protect your dollar, give you assets, and grant you the potential to be successful, guys. Don't drop the ball on this. Don't drop the ball on this. Now listen, go to www.phasevi.com, learn more about all this different stuff right here. Click the links in the bio because I'm providing you guys links to help you with more information, split sheets, all sorts of stuff that will take you to the next level, help you get your check, all right? I don't know everything, but I know a lot about a little and a little about a lot. And every time I step in front of this camera, I'm giving you guys everything that I got. Why? Because I'm beamed in, and I need you guys to get beamed in too, because I'm excited about getting my bread. I hope you're excited about getting your bread. And I want all of us to get bread together, break bread, pass it around like Jesus. Amen. Take care. It's your boy, Sirr Love.